Ho, 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 boy, oh boy, you're a classic whole body tonic. You know what, folks? Greetings to everybody. When it said it's going to improve your vitality, your longevity, and that's exactly what the JC Tonic is doing. And I was thinking, Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2021, and that makes it now 78 years since my father first started to commercialize his miraculous, outrageous, wonderful preparation. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And here we are, and still going strong and still saving lives. Wow. So let's see. 1943, I was 6 years old. We just had our new house in a suburb of Quebec City. And my dad had rented a little place down in Quebec City itself, where he had his little lab, and he started making little bigger batches than he'd been making because he'd been giving it away for years and years, and it just got bigger and bigger, and basically he couldn't afford to do it any longer. So he started charging a little bit, and no matter if he charged a little bit, people still bought it, and so he had to charge a little bit more to cover his expenses and so on, and manufacturing, and people were buying it left, right, and center, and the word was getting out. So by the following year, 43, that house had been just finished being built, I think. No, it was about ready to move in, I guess. And he converted our playroom that he had made for us, my brother and I, who was 2 years older than I was, and converted it into making his preparation. I remember him having the big steel tanks brought in. Well, big. I mean, at the time, they were only 100-gallon tanks, but he had two of them. I mean, boy, oh boy, talk about production. And he was doing his extractions. So he'd bring in the herbs in. We had two garages, and one of them was sort of the warehouse, and one was the packaging area. And he brought in the herbs, the raw herbs. You could start smelling them coming up through the stairwell up to the rest of the house. And then, of course, when he was extracting them, the smell got stronger, and it was beautiful. Boy, oh boy. And so we learned at a very young age what this was all about, and watching people come and go and filling their cars, this was a thing of beauty. Even at my age, I was looking, I said, holy cow, what's going on? This is amazing. Of course, he said, everybody has to drink the tonic. Well, he had been saying that for some years, and I never wanted to because I didn't like the taste. Hey, anybody out there, anybody ever say that? I didn't like the taste. But you know what? It's like everything in life. Does anybody out there ever drink whiskey or any other beverage? Was it great the first time you drank it? No. Did you like it later on, maybe? And when you have one that actually is good? Yeah. So it's the same thing with maybe coffee and whatever else. We get used to things. So for those of you new to the JC Tonic, maybe you haven't even received any yet, this stuff is worth its weight in gold, and it's really incredible. When you drink it, you just start to feel good. Believe me, even the taste gets better and better. But these days, the taste is not so bad. It wasn't like when my dad was making it at the beginning. So now it's pretty smooth. Don't worry about it. Make sure you get your bottle, make sure you start drinking, and don't look back. Because those of you on the call and the tens of thousands of others who have drank this over these last 78 years all had results. I like to tell the story about our money-back guarantee. No one ever asks for the money back. I wonder why. It's because it works. If you drink a minimum of 1 ounce a day for that 32 ounces of that first bottle that you ever buy, you're going to find that it's going to do something for you positively. You may not know why or what, nothing. You might just say, I don't know what it is. It's a feeling. I feel good. And it's because it's starting to work and make you feel good. It's changing the chemistry in your body. And that's what results in all these really, really incredible success stories. It's the chemical changes in the body, particularly to the bloodstream, that gets the body starting to turn itself around. When a body is healthy, then it doesn't get ill. It doesn't get sicknesses. It doesn't have too much of this or not enough of that. It's in balance. When you tune up your car, it's in balance. So we have a really, really special guest today that we're going to have on the call. And she has suffered from cerebral palsy since she was born. What a sad story, but what a strong story of this lady who just kept on going, didn't let anything stop, no matter what it was. Now, some of us are crying the blues because we have a headache once in a while, or we have a little diabetes or a little arthritis, and we think it's terrible. Some of us have terrible diabetes, terrible of all the rest of the things, and it is terrible. Well, this was another one of these terrible ones, but she has such great words that I want you to all sit back and think very, very carefully about everything she's saying, because this is some story, okay? So I'm going to call Cindy. Her name is Cindy. I'm going to call her on, and we're going to get started, all right? So tell me, Cindy, you're there, and you're going to tell us your story. Why don't you just start from the beginning and let the folks know what a life you've had both on and off the JC Tonic.
Okay, so my name is Cindy. I'm 59 years old. I was born with cerebral palsy, and through my childhood I had surgeries and wore braces. To begin with, they didn't think I was going to live. They didn't think I was going to be able to walk. Different things like that I managed. But
how old were you then when all that was going on? Growing up, you said, was that like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old? What was it?
I had my first surgery when I was 6, my second surgery when I was 12. I wore different kinds of braces from the time I was 2 until I was 12.
Is that on your legs or where?
Yes, on my leg.
Like Forrest Gump?
Yes, exactly like that. And let me tell you, what they did in the movie with those braces falling apart, it would never happen, because believe me, I tried to make them fall apart.
I bet they did. I bet you did too. Boy. So then the braces, and what happened then?
Well, they keep you going to the doctors and the hospitals until you're 18. And then after 18, you're on your own. There's really no doctor to help you with any of that. And
you were walking and you went to school and all that. You were able to get around, but of course, with a lot of problems.
Right. I have what they call a very definite gait. I'm very uncoordinated, fall all the time. You have muscle spasms and just general pain all the time. And from the time I was 18 until I believe I was I want to say 25 or 30 when I was introduced to the tonic. And up until that point, I had muscle spasms all the time. When I started on the tonic, the muscle spasms stopped.
Just like that, or it took a little time?
It did not take very much time at all. If I remember right, it took about a week.
Wow.
Maybe a little more, but nothing else ever helped those spasms. So I was in my glory just with that. But it also helped with numerous other things. My daughter had ear infections and nothing would help. I used the tonic and she never had to go to the doctor again. I put it directly into her ear.
And to have her drink it, or just in the ear?
Oh, well, I had her drink it also. But I put it in her ear before she went to bed, And when she woke up, all the junk that needed to come out of her ear had come out overnight. And she never had another earache. Whenever she would say, Mom, my ears are bothering me, I just put another drop of tonic in her ears. And she would, yes.
You know, we've heard of people, as a matter of fact, I've put some in my own ears and my eyes and so on. A lot of people have done that and do it, but not enough people have heard about that and how soothing and seems to be antibiotic, because even on a cut, if you put pure JC, it might smart for a minute, but it doesn't very long, and it really helps the healing process. That's great.
Well, I've even put it in my bath water because of my aches and pains, and I also have arthritis and scoliosis, stenosis, and degenerating disc disease. So if you soak in a tub and you put, say, about a half an ounce of that in the water and just soak in it, it helps.
Just a half an ounce?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yeah, you don't need very much in the bathtub.
Oh.
Of course, I take a very hot bath when I do that.
Yeah, but that's just amazing. Everybody can do that, a half an ounce. I mean, I thought you'd need like a quart, you know, but that's fantastic. Wow.
Oh, no, you just need a little bit. In fact, I've even put it in my shampoo. Because it does wonders for your hair.
Yeah, I know that trick, too.
Yep, I bet you do. And I soaked my feet in it, and with my problems, my feet don't have very much sensation, and I was getting feeling in my feet, and I had a scar from the surgery when I was 12. The scar disappeared up to the waterline of how deep I soaked my feet.
No, come on.
Yes, it's completely gone.
I wish I had a picture of that. Holy cow.
Well, I don't have a before picture, but the scar was in the shape of an L along the side of my foot and up my leg. And now the bottom part of the L is completely gone.
Where you, up to the level where you were soaking?
Yes.
Holy cow. Yeah, if we had the before picture.
All the way up to my knee.
Gee.
Yeah.
So what happened
was amazing. Next? I never expected that effect.
No.
But like I said, and then I was getting more sensation in my feet and more feeling, and, you know, it really helped with that.
But you were drinking at that time, how much were you drinking?
At least an ounce a day. If I had any issues or problems, I would take a little more, or if somebody walked by me coughing, I'd take an extra swig just to make sure I didn't catch whatever they had.
So all in all, you really were generally just on an ounce a day?
Yes.
Boy.
And I never caught as much as a cold the entire time I was on it. And I was doing daycare in my home. So everything that was going around with the kids would come into my home. And I never got sick. And then I met my husband, and right after I met him, he got sick. I mean, he was down flat. I was making sure he was still breathing.
Holy smoke.
And when he came out of it, I asked him, I said, what's your problem? He said, oh, I just had a cold. I said, no, what is your problem? Oh, he had a motorcycle accident and lost his spleen, so he had no ability to fight anything off.
Isn't that sad?
But from that day on, he started taking the tonic. And it's been 20 years, and he's never as much as caught a cold since.
Oh, my Lord.
Right. And he was a truck driver, and his hands would, they would dry out and crack and bleed, and then he would get all the grime from the work in the cracks in his hands. It was terrible. And as a matter of fact, he only has 3 fingers on his left hand and none on his right. And then, so the parts of his hands that he had were so sore he could barely use them. And I told him, I said, just soak your hands in water with the tonic for 5 minutes. I said, if it doesn't work, I'll never ask you to do it again. Well, he did it because he was trying to prove me wrong. But after that 5 minutes, he wiped his hands off. All the grime came out. His hands looked like a baby's butt.
No. This
Yeah.
is amazing.
Absolutely. And then there was
Holy
time I was cleaning my stove and forgot I had just used it. I touched the burner and burnt 2 of my fingers so badly they were stuck to the burner. I had to take my thumbnail and pry my skin off the burner so that the skin would go with my fingers instead of staying on the burner.
Oh, Lord.
And I was in process of taking my daughter to the doctor, so I didn't have time to do anything about the burn. So I took a paper towel and poured JC on it, wrapped it around my fingers, and took her to the appointment. It was a long appointment. I sat there for hours. And I would just, whenever the paper towel would dry out, I would re-wet the paper towel that had the tonic on it. I did that for, I want to say, 2 or 3 days. There's not even a scar on my fingers.
Holy
From
Toledo.
It completely healed. So
My, oh my, oh my.
it's amazing. I put it on everything. I put it on any cuts, sunburn, you name it. If it hurts, you put the tonic on it, and it eases the pain.
Well, I've known about that, and I've been telling folks to do just that forever, and you're right. It works on anything outside the body as inside, but that story about the burned fingers, I'm just thinking about it, and I'm putting my hands in my pockets, but I feel for you. That must have been terrible. Imagine burnt like that.
Yes, it was. And I didn't have time to take care of myself because I was taking care of my daughter. Otherwise, I probably would have ran to the emergency room, but I didn't have time for that.
So you were at the doctor's office and you were feeling so good you didn't ask the doctor to look at your burnt finger.
Well, no, I actually had to sit with my granddaughter, so I couldn't go in with my daughter to the doctor. So I had to sit there and watch her all day with burnt fingers.
Boy, oh boy, what a story.
Yeah,
what else do you have in that surprise story bag of yours, Cindy?
Well, taking it every day, it regulates your digestive system. It helps with depression, which a lot of people are dealing with now with all this COVID stuff. And I actually believe that it helps with the COVID because I also have a girlfriend that takes the tonic every day, and she works in a nursing home. So they have had cases of COVID. She's never gotten it, and they test her every week.
And others have gotten it? Other
employees and other patients in the nursing home have gotten it. And she's been in the same room with them because they had a mandatory meeting, and other people in that meeting caught the COVID, but she did not.
Well, we certainly have told people all this past year that it'll do an awful lot to boost their immune system, and that's what must be happening with your girlfriend, because if you have a strong immune system, it's even able to combat things as serious as this virus and many other things. So I hope that's what's happening, because it sounds like it, and I guess the best thing is just keep drinking it.
Right. Well, there was a time when I fell on hard times and I literally could not afford to buy it. And so I went off of it probably for 2 or 3 years. And just recently it got so bad that I was homeless. So I'm just now getting back on my feet where I can start taking it again. But during that 3 years, I had to have my gallbladder out. I had a stone in my urethra tube that goes to your kidney, and let me see, I had colitis and diverticulitis.
Oh, gee. What happened with the diverticulosis or lysis, whatever you call it?
Well, that is pockets in your intestines, and you're supposed to just watch what you eat.
Is that
because things will get in those pockets. But yeah. I haven't had any problem eating anything since I've started taking the tonic again. And my colitis was so bad that they told me if I hadn't went to the hospital at the time, I would have been dead in 6 hours.
Holy smokes. Did they operate, or what did they do there?
They checked everything out to make sure there was nothing else wrong. and they couldn't find the cause of the colitis. They gave me medication and stuff in the hospital, which I can't even tell you what it was. But that was a really scary thing.
And you're okay with that now?
I'm okay with that. And then after that, I got the stone, and they actually had to put a stent in my ureter tube, and that was torture. I had never had problems like that before.
You might have been happier passing the stone.
Absolutely.
Boy.
That was terrible. But now I've gotten back on my feet. I'm not homeless anymore. I was able to get the tonic through the help of a good friend, and I'm back. I'm actually not taking a full ounce yet because also during the time I was off the tonic, I got diabetes. And with diabetes, you have to, start slow so it doesn't throw anything out of whack. So I'm about up to a half an ounce at a time now.
Well, you can probably go to the ounce right now and even more, Cindy, and it'll do an awful lot to start changing the blood sugar problem as well, you know?
Oh, yes. I haven't even had an episode where I feel like my sugar's going up or down.
Are you measuring it at home or what?
Yeah, I do the finger prick thing where you check your sugar level.
Well, you'll be able to see if you up the dose of the tonic or at least get to an ounce, slowly your sugar levels should start to balance and maybe start to lower. Because we only say that because everybody tells us that's exactly what happens. And people measuring it, of course, they see that every couple of days or every day or every 3 days, whenever they measure it. And you should be able to get that under control pretty quickly as well.
Well, I have a doctor's appointment Friday, and I figured they're going to do the whole screening where they check my levels.
Well, that'll be interesting to hear if it's any better at all than the last time they checked.
Right, that's what I'm waiting to hear. And I'm guessing it will be, because like I said, I feel a lot better.
Well, Cindy, my dear, you deserve your free bottle you're going to get because you did come on the call and help out to share your story. You know, everything you said is going to be a help to someone who's listening to this call, because that's exactly what people need to hear, that other people have had or do have the same problem they have, and have managed to find complete or partial change to the good with the JC Tonic. So that story and those stories are really remarkable. And the ones that you talked about using it on the exterior of your body, like for the burn and the ears and so on, that's all really great stuff for people. And, people say, well, I can't really afford it. Well, you cannot afford to keep those problems. I mean, even things like those ear infections, in the end, they cost you an arm and a leg, going to the doctor, getting the medication, having them checked, having another appointment, and maybe losing days in work or school or whatever you're doing. So that's an easy, inexpensive way to keep the ears. And as I said earlier, I do it in my eyes periodically too, like at least once a week.
Yes, I've done it in my eyes before also.
Yep.
And it does help. And my eye doctor told me that I had severe allergic reactions inside my eyes. So whenever they bother me, I do that.
So you have allergic reactions. They didn't say what it was. They don't know, I guess.
They don't know what the allergy is to, but they could see the reaction in my eyes when I went to the eye doctor.
Well, you know very well then. Just keep putting the tonic in there as oft as you can, and that'll be a big help to soothe it as well.
Oh, it is. It is.
Well,
when
Cindy,
I dilute it with water. I don't put...
Oh, you do? Yeah, okay. I use mine direct, but diluting with water is fine.
It works.
Cindy, you're magnificent. What a story, and what a sad story, and the homelessness and all the health issues you have. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. From childhood on, that is really sad, but you're tough. and you did it, and you made it. And I'm happy to say that I talk to a lot of people like you who do make it and are tough and just keep at it until things get a little better. And it's good to hear that things for you are getting a little better. So you deserve that free bottle. We're going to get it out to you ASAP.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for helping out, and we'll check back in on you in a few months and see how you are. But if something comes up that's really outstanding in all your tests and so on, call us. We'll get you back on the call.
I sure will.
Okay, my dear. Appreciate it.
Yes, bye-bye.
Thanks now. Bye now. Well, is everybody on the floor? What a story. You may all be suffering of something, but boy, what a story. Well, we have somebody on the line tonight who had quite a story himself. I mean, at the time when I heard it, I fell on the floor. Hey, Lenny, are you there?
I am here.
the great Lenny. I talked with Lenny this week, everybody, and I went over his story and how he was and his health when he first discovered JC Tonic. It's such an incredible story. It's always worth keep telling, and he's telling it to everybody, and it makes a big, big difference to a lot of people when they hear how he made it, because he looks like $1 million today. Hey, Lenny, so what do you got to say?
No, it's true. I feel like $1 million and I forget my story. It's already 20 years that I've been on JC Tonic, but it was a struggle at first, for the first 4 years for me, because, I had so many things wrong with me. The doctors literally gave up on me. So, I didn't expect the tonic to have a miraculous outcome, but in a way it was, because a lot of the major stuff that I had seemed to go away. And gradually, I just knew and felt so much better, and skin problems that I had for many, many years. Oh man, if the people would have seen the photos of my face so swollen, and from I had shingles all over my face, I actually looked like a lizard, man. I'll tell you the truth, folks. And there was a time I was so sick that I remember, I think it was like 2 years, I was basically sleeping and living in my bedroom. And I never forget, we had this ugly green carpet. I mean, it was ugly. I don't even know why we got that. Oh, man. But I was amazed, because when I looked down at that carpet, I actually made a path from the bed to the bathroom. And you can actually see how the carpet was matted down into that path. I was like, what the, when you start feeling good and all that, you're just like, what happened to me, So the tonic was amazing. And on this call, though, I wanted to bring out something that I think is so important, because when you get a relative or a friend or somebody on JC Tonic, you want to make sure you call them up and see how they're doing, because the tonic can be very powerful. And I'll never forget, I read Dr. Bruce Fife's book called The Healing Crisis or Process. And in his book, it explains how the body will go through a detoxification process where your blood or your body and your blood or whatever is getting rid of toxins in your body. And it brings out that sometimes you don't feel that good. So it's important for people to know who are drinking the tonic that you'll go through these different processes, and don't get afraid and stop taking the tonic, because that's what happened to me. I didn't understand what my body was going through, because I was feeling so good, and then all of a sudden I was really feeling lousy and weak and tired. And I read the book, and the paragraphs where it talked about that to help your body to get rid of those toxins faster, drink water and drink a lot of fluids, so that way your body will get rid of that, and you'll start to feel better. So all those on the call tonight, I get so excited, sometimes I get choked up. So if you hear me choking a little bit, it's just my story, man. I remember, and it kind of chokes me up a little bit. But like Cindy or any others who are drinking JC Tonic, just remember, Your body will go through a different process, and sometimes you feel better, sometimes you don't. But if you stick with it, you will get the results that you're looking for, and even more, because I didn't think that I was going to eliminate a lot of the problems I had. I was just trying to feel better. I didn't know it was going to take my skin problems away, help my eyesight, and my asthma, and all these other major things that I had for many years, and now they're just practically gone. So don't quit the tonic. I know even if you get in a situation where, you know, your budget is not so good, do what you can. I mean, I literally was in the alley. I'll never forget, me and my wife, because we were broke when we got on the tonic. And we were looking for aluminum cans, copper, or whatever it took so I can get that first case of JC Tonic. I did what I had to do, and it was worth it. So just remember in your mind that JC Tonic is like, I got to have this. It's like eating groceries. So put that money aside, or whatever you have to do to, you know, make a little extra money to keep drinking it. It'll be worth it, because today I don't even remember being sick. Does that make sense? I can't even get my story right because, man, I forgot all the stuff that got better with me. And I had the privilege of sharing a bottle of JC Tonic with a friend of mine. Her sister, her esophagus, they thought she had cancer in there. She had this huge lump on her neck, and I actually took a photo of that, so I have that. And she gave her bottle of tonic. So she buys it, but then she gives it to her sister because she's worried. And I think it's so important, though, to call them up. She's been on it for a week now, and I don't call every day, but I call every other day for right now because she's new to JC Tonic. It's powerful, and sometimes people forget it. You know, you put it on the shelf, and you forget to drink it. So I just wanted to make sure she didn't forget. So I'd call her up and say, hey, Kelly, just checking on you. I just want to make sure you're drinking your JC Tonic. Now, at this point, I'm not asking her, do you feel anything yet? Or I don't go into that because I don't want to make the person feel that, if it ain't working, that, it's not going to work on them. I hope I'm making sense, because you just want to make sure they're drinking it every day so that they can get results. So you have to call those people that you share the JC Tonic with, or if you know somebody drinking JC Tonic, just call them up. They would love that, because it shows that you care about them. So don't hesitate, just even for a minute. You don't have to stay on the phone for an hour or 2 hours, but even take a minute. Just say, I just want to make sure, Kelly, that you're drinking your JC Tonic every day. And if they have something to say, then you can listen or elaborate. But just check on them. I'm telling you how important that is, because I was appreciative that the person who started me on JC Tonic called me for at least a couple of weeks off and on just to make sure I was drinking it. And I appreciated that. So when you're sharing this tonic, please, 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 all of you, just make a phone call to check up that they're drinking it, because nobody's going to get results if they stop drinking it. And sadly, that has happened. Somebody will try JC Tonic, and then because maybe the taste is a little bitter, or they weren't, told that it has a herbal taste or whatever, they put it in their closet. And I'll never forget a friend of mine who bought some from someone. She goes, I've heard about that tonic. I go, really? And she goes, yeah, I actually have some. I go, well, where is it? She goes, just give me a second. So she went into her bedroom, and lo and behold, she had some tonic. And I go, why aren't you drinking it? She goes, it tastes, I don't know what to do because it tastes I don't like the taste. So I said, did you know you can mix it in water? She goes, what? I go, you could put it in juice or, whatever you need to do so you can drink it. And she goes, I didn't know that. So what I'm saying here is, you see how important it is to make that phone call, to tell a person and listen to them, so that, they might have a question about it and think that, well, I'll just put it in the closet. Well, to make a long story short, she starts drinking it, and, I did the call to make sure she's taking it. And she's doing all right, and within a week, she was almost crying. She goes, Lenny, I cannot believe this. She goes, I feel so much better. I was full of pain and so forth, and I can't believe I stuck it in the closet. She goes, if I would have just known this, I probably would have been on it for a lot longer. So I just can't help to bring that out. And Tonic Man, I have so much to say. I get so excited I can't even breathe because I feel it's a privilege to be on your show. And I want to thank you for that. I appreciate all the things that the company has done for me, because when I had a question and I called up, there was someone there that always called back, and that's what they'll do for you folks. So if you have a question, leave your, even if they don't answer the phone directly, because sometimes they get a lot of calls, leave your question there or your concern, and someone will get back with you. And maybe even the Tonic Man might. That would be nice, right?
Actually, the Tonic Man does call back quite often to folks, and Lenny, I'm glad you brought that up, because actually we have said many times over the years and suggested to people, if they leave a message in detail, if they say, look, I'm having a healing crisis, or I don't like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If they leave it in detail, when they get a phone call back, the person will have an answer. Otherwise, if you phone and say, I have a problem, I need to this or that, you say, well, hold on. So you're holding on, we're holding on, we're rushing around trying to find a reply or the information or look in the database or whatever it may be. So everybody's wasting time. If you leave the message in detail, when we call you back, and you also tell us, call me back at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, best time after sup, whatever it is, we'll do that. And so everybody saves time and everybody gets their answer. So I just wanted to throw that in again. We've mentioned it many times, but it's an important little aspect, especially if you're an ambassador building a business. You don't have time to hang on the phone waiting for us to get you an answer, and then you start getting itsy because the no answer is coming, So all those little things are important in our well-being and so on. Anyway, Lenny, back to you.
Yeah, so make the call. Don't stop taking the tonic if you have a question like that. Call up and find out, because you'll miss out on feeling much better, and maybe your problems will be lessened, or maybe they even go away. So I just love talking about this product. I have for many years. I've never kept it myself. I was always telling friends and family, and sometimes they started on it, sometimes they didn't, but eventually many of them did. And I'm always getting thanked. So if you want to get thanked, share JC Tonic with others. It's wonderful. So Tonic Man, I just also wanted to mention that, excuse me, I get choked up. See, I get emotional when I start talking, because I have my mom. She's 83 years old. I'm hoping to get her on this call. It's amazing. I thought she was going to get COVID, but she's been drinking the tonic for 20 years or so. So one day I thought, oh, no, she's getting the COVID. She didn't feel good. She was kind of miserable. So, of course, I told her to go check it out. And they were amazed at my mom, because she's not on any medication. She doesn't have any major illnesses or problems for her age. And they were just like, well, I think you just have a little cold, but nothing more than that. So that's why I was just like, wow, I was so relieved. But I am so glad she's been drinking the JC Tonic, and she was a stubborn one.
But that story,
it took me a long time to get her on that.
That story is so urgent for everybody to know about, for their folks or grandfolks. Look, I'm your mother's age, and I've been drinking it for 3 times longer than she has, and I thought that it's because of that long period why I'm not on those medications, and I'm okay and pretty darn healthy. But she's been drinking for 20 years. So what I'm thinking is, you don't have to be on it for 60 years for it to work like that. You can be on it for 20 years, and I think we know some people who have been on it for 5 or 10 years who are now like that. So people, everybody listening, if you're drinking this on a regular basis, as soon as you're on it for 2, 3, 4 years, you're going to be bulletproof. Stay with it.
Absolutely. So, Tonic Man, that's it for me. I want to welcome everyone, and I want to ask you to come back and bring someone to the call for next Sunday. Because
yeah, and remember,
life.
Everybody, the people that you bring that come on for the very first time and tell their story, they get a free bottle on us, because we just want to help out and encourage people. And so if you have new people that are now on the tonic and they're starting to have a story, follow them, as Lenny said. Call up, follow up, stay in touch. And what it is, in a month or two, they might have a really incredible story that will help other people, so we can save another life. And on that note, Lenny,
take an ounce and feel the bounce. See you next week, everyone.
See you next week.
Jurak Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Jurak Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.